World-famous action film star and kung fu icon David Carradine sets the internet on fire when he is found hanging dead in a hotel closet. David Carradine was a world-famous character actor whose legendary performances for directors like Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino spanned 50 years. On Sunday, May 31, 2009, David Carradine checks into Bangkok's Swiss hotel Nail Alert Park.
David Carradine was involved in a movie called Stretch. And so he arrived in Bangkok on May 31st. And for 3 days that he was there, he was filming scenes for his movie.
He spent the following days hanging out in the hotel bar, playing piano, playing flute, drinking a little bit, and apparently being in an all-around good mood.
In the official story, the cast and crew decided to go to dinner that night in the red light district, and David was going to join them. So they all get ready to go to dinner, and they can't rouse David Carradine. They can't find him. They can't locate him. He's not answering his phone, and he's not answering his hotel room door.
Carradine seems to be unreachable.
David's assistant did not get a hold of him, and so the crew left for dinner without him.
As they're eating, the assistant gets a phone call, and it's David Carradine. And he's like, "Did you guys leave without me?" And the assistant's like, "Yeah, we're already here. You're going to have to find your way here." And he's like, "Okay, I'll see you soon."
Unfortunately, the film crew never see Carradine alive again.
He never shows up. And then he is found the next morning by a chambermaid. That's the official, story from all sources.
He was naked. He had some sort of a ligature around his neck and around his genitals. Autoerotic asphyxia is actually more common than a lot of people think.
My name is Dr. Steve Hucker. I'm a semi-retired psychiatrist and a university professor. Autoerotic asphyxiation is the production or enhancement of sexual arousal by restricting one's breathing. If this is an autoerotic scene, then what's the sex bit? All right? Because that helps differentiate from a suicide.
Online sleuths point to the black shoelace as evidence of a game being taken to another level.
His hands were tied above his head like this, and there was a rope that he was hanging from, and then that rope was tied to a rope that was tied to his genitals.
If he lifted his arms, he could, in effect, castrate himself and choke himself out at the same time. Hands go down, relief. Back up, genitals, neck, desired goal. He had some practice going into this situation, that's for sure. It was very elaborate and intricate. Frankly, I marveled at his ingenuity.
Gail, one of his ex-wives, was talking to Radar Online, and she said before they were married in 1984, she found him, he was hanging from a beam and unconscious, and she basically lifted him up and took him off this beam, and when he woke up, he was just like blasé about it, like, "I'm hungry and I want a sandwich."
If he was struggling, he might have struggled and the rope or the cord would have abraded and it might have got so deep that blood came out.
A key discussion in many autoerotic chat rooms allege the realism is the turn-on.
One of the things which are hard for people to understand is that it's possible to tie your hands together and end up with them behind your back. I can't do this because I'm too old and decrepit, but younger people can do that and they walk through the loop and it ends up behind you. So you could have done that on your own. 72 years old, which is old for fatalities. The average in our study was about 28 years. But it means that this is somebody who's been doing this for many years and, if you can coin a phrase, got to know the ropes.
A deep dive into internet groups that practice autoerotic asphyxia claim it's about being on the edge of death.
Do I recommend that everybody gives this a go? Absolutely not. because anything can go wrong. On the other hand, people who do this often say it's sexually arousing to put my life on the line. I think on balance, David Carradine's death was autoerotic asphyxial in nature. He was found in a closed room where nobody else was or had been. He's nude. He's hanging. There's a part of the rope complex which is around his genitals. And he's had a history of this. I would say this was 90% sure.